House Intel Chairman Devin Nunes today telling radio host Hugh Hewitt he is considering calling Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts to testify before Congress about FISA abuses. Take a listen.
And the Chief Justice appoints the FISA judges. Have you had a chance to chat with him or any of the FISA judges about what went on at the FISA court with regard to the Page application?
This is something that we grappled with, that we've been grappling with all through this investigation. Our next step with the courts is to make them aware, if they're not aware already, that this happened by watching the news. So we will be sending a letter to the court. If somehow this case ends up at the Supreme Court, somehow, some way, by sending a letter to Roberts, do you conflict the court?
Joining me now is Washington Examiner chief political correspondent, Fox Business contributor Byron York. Kind of an interesting suggestion on the part of Nunes, and it does get complex because you have this very important separation of branches of government. For the Congress to be demanding something of the justices might be difficult, no?
It is. There are separation of powers issues. There's the existence of the House Judiciary Committee, which might be a more appropriate place to do this. And as a bigger thing, it's kind of a side issue for a committee that wants to continue looking into the behavior of the intelligence agencies and the FBI in the whole Trump-Russia affair.
But for the FISA courts to have suffered this humiliation must have an effect. I mean, no judge wants to be responsible for a case that is dealing with tainted evidence, right?
Well, one thing we really don't know in this case is what the FISA judges, and I believe there were 4 of them for the 4 separate applications,
because they rotate all the time.
What they think about what they were presented. Do they believe that they had been deceived and the FBI was dishonest with them? You would expect they'd be kind of angry, but I think we can all say from our own experience trying to report things is that the FISA court is kind of a black hole of information. You don't get much out of it.
Now let's talk about another legal avenue that we've been covering with regard to all this, which is the criminal referral put together by Senators Lindsey Graham and Senator Grassley, which specifically talks about the State Department and its involvement in the Trump dossier, which of course was used by that FISA court as evidence for the right to spy an American citizen. What about this? The State Department getting involved? And of course, Hillary Clinton was at the State Department, she was Secretary of State. Her people, I would assume, played a role in some of this.
Yeah, one of the interesting themes, I guess, of the dossier is we've been finding out over the last few months that knowledge of it spread farther inside the Obama administration than we originally knew. Farther in the FBI or farther in the Justice Department. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wrote a piece saying it appears that there was something going on inside the State Department with this, and indeed there was. Just a couple of days ago, Victoria Nuland, who was a top State Department official in the Obama State Department, said that she knew about the dossier in July of 2016, which is actually pretty early. So now we've heard of kind of an amazing chain of information in which there's some foreign source who gives information to Cody Shearer, who is a Clinton associate, a defender of Clinton from scandals past, who then gives it to Sidney Blumenthal, who's a legendary defender of Clinton from scandals past, who then gives it to the State Department, who gives it to Steele, who gives it to the FBI. So there are a lot of people involved in the Obama administration with this dossier.
And it is the essence of what the Clinton war machine was. I mean, these were all, of course, you have the members of the old Bill Clinton team, including Sid Blumenthal that we spoke of earlier. But it just shows this. I'm wondering to what extent, this is looking forward, are we going to find out that perhaps what this was a diversion, a Hillary Clinton campaign diversion, to take attention away from Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's connections with Russia?
Well, I don't know. I just don't know about that. But obviously Democrats felt that Donald Trump was a target-rich environment, and here they had this guy saying that he had this spectacular intelligence, which we now call salacious and unverified.
Right.
It was really salacious, and I think they were all just hoping. I mean, as a matter of fact, as September comes and then October comes, they clearly become more frantic to get the information in the dossier out. Some of the people in the press are not actually cooperating because they looked for some proof of it and couldn't find it. But they were very, very anxious to get that dossier information out before the election.
And after the election, there was a lot of spreading of the dossier after the election, and clearly that's when FBI Director Comey, who was still in charge, was involved with all this somehow. So we'll have to say there are a lot more legs to this story. That's clear.
Absolutely
so
true.
You'll have plenty of work to do. Byron York, good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.